Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and that you've got, some plans for at least a little bit of time to relax and rest a bit this weekend. So YouTube Live, apparently I can't share my screen, or if I am able to, I don't know how to do that. So, which means it's going to take a while for this recording to convert, do whatever it needs to do before I post it to um, Blackboard. Anyways, so kind of a bummer that way. Or maybe I forget if I posted to YouTube last time or not, but at any rate, so I'm going to try and keep this on the short side. I've got, let's see, 6 things to share, intros to critique. So I'm not going to do my best, at least not to go on and on and on and on. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all. And let's see here. Okay, so here's Chrissy's cultural misunderstandings. Waking up this morning, you may have started by browsing social media, completing a class assignment, or the process of getting ready for your day. While some may find this to be normal, other cultures may find it unusual to start the day. Let's see. In this manner or without morning prayer. The book, The Spirit Catches You When You Fall Down. Spiritual beliefs stand out from the forward of the novel. Okay, so just a couple small fixes. I'm not interested in every local fix or anything like that, so much as I am interested in structure and content. Different beliefs such as origins for sickness and post-birth traditions are all captured within the first pages. As said on page 13 of the novel, reminding the listeners that the world is full of things that may not seem to be connected, but actually are. Reciprocation of respect for all people through obtaining major cultural differences is vital. Okay, so I would recommend changing the structure of this. The issue here is that your statement is all the way at the end, sort of thing. So you might just say reciprocation of respect for all people is vital, especially through major cultural differences, as the author states on page 13 of the novel, and split that into two separate blocks. The concept of cultural understanding is based on your willingness to comprehend the difference between universal obligation versus respect for cultural differences / particularity, which was introduced in Appiah's cosmopolitanism. Okay, so in terms of basic intros, this seems, I think, somewhat reasonable, right? We have this sort of a kind of general gesture towards introduction and context. I think this sentence could be sharper. Spiritual beliefs stand out from the forward of the novel. You might just be more specific, right? The spiritual beliefs of the Hmong people, as well as their history, are discussed at length in regard to a major medical episode in which a young girl has seizures and her parents do not heed the advice of medical doctors, primarily because of cultural and language differences and difficulties, right? Something along those lines, because different beliefs, this is true, but we just don't know enough, right? We're talking about the Hmong versus the more Western beliefs or American beliefs primarily. So this seems like a interest. Let's see. So the concept of cultural understanding is based on your willingness to comprehend the difference between universal concern / obligation versus respect for cultural differences. So I think I'm just having trouble parsing, comprehending the difference. I think what you're trying to say is, or I would just restate this, in Appiah's cosmopolitanism, he introduces a concept that he calls universal concern / obligation. Here's what it is, and then finish with a sentence or two that shows which specific areas you'll be talking about or applying this concept to situations in The Spirit Catches You When You Fall Down. Okay. All right. Let's see, Rebecca. Cultures defines the characteristics of one's heritage and customary beliefs. When combining different cultures, there's a certain level of respect that must be maintained. Appia uses the term cultural patrimony and defines it as the products of a culture, the group from whose conventions the object derives its significance. Okay. Just sort of weirdly stretching my shoulders and back here. Don't mind me. Okay, so one thing I really like. Oh, I don't know if y'all could hear that or not, but back is cracking. Like, one thing I really like in both this intro. Well, I think we could probably stand to bring in a quote from Cosmopolitanism, but this seems like a judicious quote, as does this as well. I think this is a nice quote to use as well. So I think that's a great device to use in an introduction, right? The author's own words, as long as you're introducing that quote and responding to it. One cross-cultural misunderstanding involves negligence in health, using Appiah's concept of respect for cultural difference / particularity. Neglect is defined as to be remiss in the care or treatment of. So that stands out a little bit for me. You might even combine these two sentences. Appiah's concept of, well, I'm not even sure that we need that there. In The Spirit Catching You Fall Down by Annie Fadiman, one cultural difference is the approach to modern medicine. So again, here, be specific as possible. One cultural difference is the Hmong approach to modern medicine versus the Western American approach. Now, specifically, what are those? The healthcare providers argue that medicine would help her disease. However, her parents believe that their form of religious rituals would cure her. Okay, so you're getting more specific here. That's excellent. You could be even more specific. What is her disease, right? It's epilepsy. How would that be helped? Or how did they argue what would help her, and what did her parents believe would help her, right? So overall, this is a reasonable introduction. I think it's probably a little bit thin in terms of, you can do a good job of cultural context. I'm not seeing a roadmap here. I don't know what you'll be arguing or examining. So I'm assuming that we might be talking more about the cultural patrimony. So I think this sentence needs to be probably sharpened. Like, if this is what your paper is examining, then let the reader know. All right. Okay. Let's see, Carter. Oftentimes we try to empathize with others. It seems to come naturally to us unless it is interfered by some outside source like technology, mental disorders, or overly descriptive language throughout a literary work. I seem to remember this from the last paper, possibly. Does it come naturally to us? I don't know. That's certainly arguable. However, there's one empathy blocking mechanism that's become universal to all people around the world, which is known as cross-cultural misunderstanding. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a reasonable point. In The Spirit Catches You, and You Fall Down, Anne Fadiman explains in Chapter 8 that she had difficulty interviewing the Hmong people in Merced, California. Such an extreme contrast between the Hmong culture and the American one in the interview that professional translators were unable to adequately clarify the answers Fadiman was given from the respondents. Also interesting. In the book Cosmopolitanism, so already we've been able to delete some redundant language, right? A couple of howevers. So in the book Cosmopolitanism, Kwame Anthony Appiah offers a solution to the uncongenial beliefs. Might be a better adjective there. Appiah suggests that we as one human race respect each cultural particularity in order to truly solve the difference among people. We must fully attempt to understand and appreciate the contrasting values of foreign ethnic groups with any resources available to us at that point in time. All right. So this also seems like, I think, a fairly reasonable introduction. We certainly get some context here. We're going to be talking about empathy. I think you could probably zero in a little bit more on this concept from Appia. Let the reader know where in cosmopolitanism it comes from, and then show us exactly what you'll be examining and having a look at, interrogating, etc. So I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm assuming this is just respect, but you have to you have to do, I think, a little bit better. You got to be more specific than just simply have respect for the beliefs of other cultures. Um, there are more specific concepts in cosmopolitanism. So, um, okay. Okay, so I have two more here. These are, I think, are really good examples, and so I'll close with these. Here's Drea. As we were in a global pandemic in 2020, many people are questioning our scientists. Do masks really work? Is COVID-19 just political propaganda? Will it all go away after the election? As Americans are questioning our scientists, the human culture is questioning them as well, and the spirit catches you and you fall down. Hmong's would rather believe in magic, unlike the New World. As an outsider to the culture, they may be questioning as to whether or not magic is real, and that is where cultural misunderstanding comes into play. As a society, the misunderstanding of different cultures happens too often to sweep it under the rug. As Appia mentions in cosmopolitanism, it's important to have respect for other cultures. And here we have the idea of a shattered mirror shows that a mirror is a whole object, but when it is broken, turned to a million shards of glass. Yet never lose what it was in the first place. It's an interesting point. Probably debatable, I guess. All the little pieces still make a whole, just with different perspectives. As many of us have the same values and morals, it may just be looked at from different perspectives. Learning about other cultures is a way to ensure respect for them. Disrespecting a culture can do damage to a person, just as disrespecting Hmong's spiritual beliefs can damage their way of life. If we were to put Hmongs into COVID-19, they would not understand the virus as scientific research, but they could understand if it were put into the terms of magic. Researching other cultures, being educated about them, would be a way to avoid cultural disrespect. Okay, so this is an interesting movement here, um, uh, tying their possible responses to COVID-19. Um, I think you do have some redundant language here. For example, researching other cultures, that's kind of doing the same thing as this sentence here, I think. Um, or sorry, this sentence here, learning about other cultures, a way to ensure respect, researching other cultures, a way to avoid cultural disrespect. So do proofread your work and be on the eye or be on the lookout for redundant language and the like. Um, a couple fixes here or a couple suggestions. So how exactly are you going to apply the shattered mirror to your reading of The Spirit Catches You? Which specific situations are you going to apply it to? And how are you going to I guess kind of move beyond just simply, well, it takes more research, right? Because one thing that we encounter immediately in cosmopolitanism is that of a world traveler who knows more than anyone among us. And this was, over 100 years ago, a traveler, I do not remember his name, who learns all about these other cultures and yet still persists in, xenophobic and racist beliefs and the like. So I think here too, probably get more specific here and finish by pointing to the exact conflicts that you'll be examining. Okay, let's see here. Oh, that's my inbox. Okay, and Chloe, I'm going to have to pause this. I think my daughter's about to come home on the school bus. With any culture, there are set and overarching beliefs or concepts that spread throughout the people. These mutually agreed upon ideas can cover a multitude of topics, including family, religion, or even money. Different cultural understandings. Okay, so this is an example of a sentence fragment, mostly because, well, there's no verb, right? Within Anne Fadiman's, probably just go like, within Anne Fadiman's novel, The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down. There's an in-depth exploration of Hmong culture and their beliefs on themes such as health and spirituality. All right, so here's a reasonable sentence, right? For the school bus. Shoot. Okay. I might just take a quick break here. How do I pause this? Okay. Sorry. Let's see here. All right, so back to our last intro here. All right. Okay, so I think this is an excellent short summary / introductory statement of this book. I think did I use the term novel? I shouldn't have. It's a nonfiction book. If I did use the term, the Hmong people see a direct tie between a person's physical health and their spirituality, something that Western civilization does not often indulge in believing. Within the novel, this juxtaposition between the Hmong and American culture creates a series of difficult situations for both the Lee family and the doctors treating Leo. Let's see, by observing the text of Kwame Anthony Appiah's Cosmopolitanism, the idea that there was a particular value in human life in which differences result in learning and growing experiences could possibly be applied to Fadiman's text as a resolution of sorts. Let's see, so rather than observing, so I think this is the heart of the intro. So I think just rewrite this as in Kwame Appiah's Cosmopolitanism, he introduces a concept, and here, let's see. So I think just get more specific about the ideas, and these ideas could move just right up into this sentence, right? So a particular value in human life in which differences result in learning and growing experiences will be applied to Fadiman's text. And you could even get more specific here. Will be applied to conflicts in Fadiman's text, or to 3 conflicts, right? You get more and more specific here. So establishing a possible solution to bridge the gap between cultural perspectives within the text. But overall, I think this is an excellent introduction. So feel free to read it again on your own here. I think we are missing a roadmap here that I think you could probably do a little bit better there. And I think here, so rather than physical health and spirituality will be evaluated alongside the ideas, right? That's not quite what we're doing here, right? We're in the last sentence, we're applying an idea from cosmopolitanism to Fadiman's text. So be as specific as possible here. So yeah, let's be as specific as possible here. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the recording again. Yeah, so we don't want to undo that sentence with our last sentence. So I think continue on and just get more specific, be more specific about the analysis, that in fact, the ideas of Appiah will be applied to situations in the spirit catching you fall down, but specifically where, right? Which 3 conflicts will we be examining? So, okay, hopefully that was helpful. Again, what I'm trying to do is give you as much time as possible for the writing of WA2 before we move on. So on Monday and Wednesday, we will meet individual conferences. Again, trying to get you as much feedback as possible before your WA2 submission. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Look forward to seeing y'all on Monday and Wednesday.